Hello everyone. Today's topic we're going to discuss on do QA need gray box testing? So before we go into a conclusion, let's discuss some of the testing types. So generally there are three types of testings. One is white box testing, other is gray box testing, third one is black box testing. White box testing is generally performed by the developer. It covers the internal flow and the code during testing. Black box testing is generally we all follow when we give any input, we are expecting some output. So let's assume we have an application, we are some form is there. So when we fill that form details, we are expecting some order number to generate. So let's fill the form, click on submit button, one order number is generated. So that is expected. Or we are expecting that if any field is missed, we get some message, error message, warning message that this should fully mandatory, please fill that. So these are black box testing, where we don't follow what internal work, how internal flow works. Now, third one, which we going to discuss more in depth, is gray box testing. It actually covers a combination of white box testing and black box testing. So when give say some example, simple example for the login. When we perform any input operation, we expecting output. In login, we enter user credential. We expecting if we enter right credential, a new page open. And if we enter wrong credential, we get some message, error message. But internally, what will happen? It must call some API in the backend, which will send the login details to other component, which send some authentication code, which is valid for some time. Then that O code will send as a second API and will get some response based on credentials. If correct credentials are there, then it will send some launch page URL endpoint or some more details with that response. So internally we follow two APIs. Having said that, from simple input from UI. So if we cover test whole flow from UI to backend, that is basically a gray box. So API testing is best example of gray box testing. So the question which I mentioned that do QA need gray box testing? Yes, it should. They should test gray box testing. API testing is the best example. Now let's understand some basic what we are benefit from gray box testing. As is identify defects, it ensures software quality, product in standards. It understand the application architecture, technology, and behavior. It also report any vulnerability issue in the system, like if you are sending some credential details or some endpoint which can hack. So in API, if we are sending, that can also be detected. And apart from that, it doesn't require any high programming skills, which is required for white box testing, which I already mentioned that API testing is the best example. Now, the same scenario which I was telling you that uh, credentials one, where we had credential wrong details or correct credential, incorrect credentials, what will happen? How we test gray box testing. Tester would test flow for UI feature using internal flows. Now let's see that same example which I was explaining. This is authentication API request for login details. It sends login details in the request body. We get some response from other component. It sends code. This code will use in another API as a header, and we get some response as a launch page details with all the details. So in API testing, if let's consider this as API testing, we are testing two APIs in unit mode and in integration mode. Integration means second API need to test based on API response from first. And we also testing single API also. So to perform this testing, we need some details from developer like what are endpoints, what are security keys, what data is expected in which format, it can be JSON, XML, anything. So all details in detail we should know. That's it. So that is we are saying that white box and black box combination. an internal flow architecture, combination of the testing concept, input, output, everything. That is gray box. Thank you. This is the session. So, in general, gray box testing is very, very critical nowadays for QA to perform.